Hello and welcome to another video in the Navigating the Windows Environment with a Screen Reader series. Today we're going to look at some system reporting commands that JAWS and NVDA have in common. This is going to be one of the videos that we do some demonstrations with both JAWS and NVDA because there are some screen reader specific commands that, though the commands themselves are the same, the screen readers will sound slightly different when reporting, and I want you to hear the difference between those two. Regardless, as noted, the commands themselves are the same, and when there is a difference, I will be sure to highlight it for you. So let's go ahead and get started. Since I have JAWS for Windows running already, I'm going to start out going through these system reporting commands using JAWS, and then we're going to come back around and go through them with NVDA. The first one is battery level, and we're going to press JAWS key plus Shift plus B. So by default, your JAWS key is Insert. So I'm going to press on my keyboard Shift plus Insert plus the letter B. And let's listen to how JAWS reports the battery level or the battery status.
AC connected. Battery level high. Battery 77%. Network Vi.K12.Y.us. Internet access.
As you heard, it reported that my computer was plugged in. I'm at 77%. The battery level is considered high, and it also reported my network status. The next system reporting command we're going to use is time. We're going to press JAWS key plus F12, or the F12 key in your function row. So insert plus F12.
11:10 a.m.
It is 11:10 a.m. If I want to report the date, I can press that twice quickly. So I'm going to press my insert and hold it in and press F12 twice.
Wednesday, August 5th, 2026.
The next item we're going to talk about is current focus. To do that, I'm going to launch File Explorer. So I'm going to press Windows key plus the letter E, echo, to launch that.
Windows E. Amy-Vidby. Items view multi-select list box. Not selected. Archive not checked.
I'm just going to silence my screen reader here. Pressing the JAWS key plus Tab will tell you what item is in focus.
Not selected. Archive not checked. 5/18/2026 9:47 a.m. File folder 1 of 145. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
So it tells me again, it says focused on archived, it's not selected. That's where my screen reader focus is. If I were to select it, it would report that same information, but report that archive was selected. This is a very quick way of kind of forcing the screen reader to let you know what has current focus rather than continuing to sort of spew out whatever it's going to kind of throw at you, for lack of better terminology. Another way to report a sort of a focus is to report the title of the window that's in focus. In our case, we have File Explorer open. I'm going to press Insert plus T, or Tango, to report the title of this window and listen to what it says.
Amy-Vidby-File Explorer.
It tells me the name of the folder I'm in, and it tells me the name of the program I'm in. That's it. It doesn't give me a whole lot of other information, like I'm in a list item. It doesn't tell me my archived isn't in focus. It just tells me what the window is that has focus. This can be extremely helpful if you have a lot of different programs open, like your email and your internet and your File Explorer. And sometimes when you're moving between programs, programs can lose focus pretty easily, or you can be moved from one focus to another by Windows. Sometimes Windows can be kind of tricky that way. I'm going to actually open this test folder down here. I'm going to press the letter T.
Test folder not checked. 55 of 145. Enter. Test folder. Items view.
And now I'm going to just do this report title again by pressing Insert plus T.
Test folder dash file explorer.
Again, it just gives me the name of the folder and the program I'm in. Very simple, very stripped down, so you don't have to listen to a lot of the extraneous information. At this point, I'm going to shut down JAWS for Windows and turn on NVDA. As a point of information, to shut down JAWS for Windows, the command is Insert plus F4. You may be presented with a confirmation dialog, but I have my settings set up so that I will not be presented with that. Listen to what it sounds like when my JAWS shuts down.
Unload.
It just said unloading, and that's it. Now I'm going to launch NVDA, and we're going to go through this same series of commands. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to close this test folder so that we start from the same place that we started from with JAWS. So now I'm going to launch NVDA. I'm going to press my Start menu, type NVDA, and press Enter. Normally, an individual could press Alt-Control-N and that would launch, but there happens to be a keyboard conflict on my system that doesn't allow that right now. So I'm going to launch it this way. When I launch NVDA, it does not give me an introductory dialog box. It might for you, depending on how you have your settings set up for NVDA. Let's go through those same commands that we went through with JAWS using NVDA. As you might recall, reporting the battery level is your NVDA plus Shift plus B. In my case, my NVDA key is the caps lock key. It can also be the insert key. I have it set up to be both. But for you, it might be one or the other, or it might be different. So I'm going to press caps lock Shift B.
77% plugged in.
You might remember that when I did this same command running JAWS, it gave me a lot more information. It told me the network I was connected to. It told me that the battery level was high. In the case of NVDA, it tells me simply the battery percentage and whether or not it's plugged in. That's all the information I get. That's fine as long as you know that that's the information that you're going to get. Let's report the system time with NVDA. So caps lock plus F12.
11:33 a.m.
Now let's do caps lock plus F12 twice and get the date.
Wednesday, August 5th, 2026.
And as you heard, it sounds exactly the same as when you do it with JAWS. I'm going to press Windows key plus E to launch File Explorer and do the same test that we looked at with reporting the system focus and reporting the title window. So I'm going to do Windows key plus the letter E.
Amy, BusVidP, File Explorer. Items view list. Archived not selected not checked 1 of 145. Amy, BusVidP tab selected.
Okay, I silenced my screen reader, so it sounds a little bit different than it sounded with JAWS, but listen to how it sounds when I report my system focus. I'm going to press caps lock plus tab to see what it tells me.
Archived list item focused not checked 1 of 145.
So it tells me what the system focus is. If I press caps lock plus the letter T to report the title of the window.
Amy, BusVidP, File Explorer.
It reports the same thing. Notice how it pronounces the name of the folder differently than JAWS pronounced it, and that's okay. It's just something that you often will notice, that the two screen reader synthesizers will pronounce things just slightly different. And as long as you're aware of it and keep it in mind, it's not generally a problem. Sometimes they're pronounced vastly different, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's fine. I'm going to go ahead and shut down my NVDA just to show you how it's done, since we looked at how to shut down JAWS. Turning off NVDA is caps lock or NVDA key plus the letter Q for quit. In my case, it just makes the shutdown sound, and I am completely exited from NVDA. I hope this video about reporting system information and commands in common between the screen readers has been helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day.